Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2Mnet podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling.
And good evening, fuckers, and welcome to the next episode of the Black Irish Podcast. With us this week, we're actually going to let ladies go first. We have our returning guest host, Miss Keneddi, is joining us tonight. How are you doing?
I'm good. How's everybody else?
Well, we're here. I guess we could say. And as always, we have the black token guy of the W2M network, Mr. Eric Watkins.
The few times I can actually try to get something up to where I can get weed and a good white woman. Nope. No. People get pissed off. There's a long story behind that.
Yeah, and we don't have time for that. So that might be one of the Black Irish After Dark episodes. So we're going to dive right into this. I mean, we're kind of on a time crunch tonight, and we definitely want to get all of our topics in. So we're diving head first. So as always, here is your parental warning. This is, if you're triggered, if you're part of the pussification of America, just go ahead and tune out now. If you're one of the YouTube fuckers that listen, go ahead and send s.garmer@gmail.com a message, and so he can bitch at me and Eric in the morning. But with that being said, we're going to talk about the topic of that I'm referring to as the devil made me do it.
Clever.
So, rapper Lil Nas has caught himself in some hot water with a speaker, God bless, I can't even talk, a sneaker company, as well as the Bible Belt. So, Eric, I'm going to let you give us, because you've seen some recent developments. So I'm going to let you take the lead and give us the synopsis of what's going on with this story.
All right. So this all started, and I actually saw these sneakers, which, hate to say it, sneakerheads, they're average. These shoes that were dubbed Satan shoes, where the main feature, Lil Nas X, supposedly, originally in collaboration with Nike, a predominantly black, like red design, but the main feature was they had a drop of human blood. I immediately thought to myself, why? But whatever. So then, as it came out just within the past week or so, now all of a sudden Nike is like, hey, whoa. We had nothing to do with this. The designs were passed through someone else, and we didn't officially give the green light. What's going on here? So now they're looking to sue Lil Nas X. So, 1 second.
And that would be Eric's whole line calling, his white women calling to see if he has chicken, grape drink, or any watermelon handy. Eric, continue.
Actually, no. You have to remember, they all get my cell phone because the landline is for things like spam calls and debt collectors, the white people I sometimes ignore, but I digress. So, after this, with this lawsuit now coming out, Nike suing Lil Nas X, in betwixt all this, there was a video. I did not see this music video in its entirety. I only saw some still images and clips of it, but it's Lil Nas X doing his thing, and it's very satanic hell sort of themed. And one point you see him rocking a pair of thigh-high boots, which, hey, for someone like him and that style of boots, I'm all for it. Dude is rocking them and looks good. He's doing him, whatever. However, all of these tie together, and there's a lot of people that are mad. And people are saying, oh, why are you doing a video with these themes? And why do you have these Satan shoes and all of this? And It was actually someone that I follow on Twitter. This tweet brought it to my attention perfectly. For decades, all we've heard is a whole bunch of people, mainly from the Bible Belt and others, a lot of your conservatives that are saying, oh, gays should be cast down to hell and burn in fire for eternity. It's a sin and all this and that. Yet Lil Nas X is actually doing a video with that sort of an imagery, and a lot of these very same people are pissed off about it. Look, I'm the first one to say that irony is Mother Nature and the universe's source of humor, but really? At this point, you just gotta wonder what the fuck is wrong with people.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hot take on this, but I'm gonna let Keneddi jump in here because it was her boots that Lil Nas borrowed for the video.
My thighs are too big for that shit. I don't wear boots like that. No, but like, so the only thing I'm sorry, I could care less about the shoes. Who cares? And there probably isn't human blood in them. That's just, but the thing that gets me about the whole thing is the same people that are sitting here getting mad at him for doing satanic, quote unquote, satanic shit, because it wasn't even satanic. He gave the devil a lap dance. Who gives a fuck, right? But the same people that are saying that.
Who doesn't give the devil a lap dance
exactly.
in their spare time? I mean.
Look, the devil is a porn star just like a lot of us want to be. He wants to get a lap dance, he gets a lap dance.
Exactly. But it's the same people that do blow off the bar counter, that are fucking their pastors, that lie to their bosses. They sin every goddamn day, but they go to church. So you're going to sit here, you'll listen to Cardi B, which I love Cardi B. I'm just going to use her as an example. You'll listen to Cardi B, but you won't listen to Lil Nas X because he's gay and he's a black man, right? So but ready? So the kids, because it's all about the kids these days, the kids will watch Lil Nas X and they'll turn gay, right? So have them watch Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and turn it back straight.
Not to mention, I will say, you did forget about the infamous run of their penchant for toe tapping and occasionally things that they've done with pages in Washington, D.C. So we got to give them credit for doing all of that, too.
It's just, no, go ahead, Jason. You're good.
I'm going to jump in here. I mean, do I see the reason to be pissed off? Yes and no. I mean, it's a video. It's an artistic expression video. And I'm the firm believer, if you don't want your kids doing it, be a better parent. I mean, you regulate what is going on. But in this society, too many people let the internet and television babysit their kids and parent their kids rather than the parents themselves doing it. So I was going to say, the only issue I really do have in it is because he came out, when O Town Road came out, he came out, he was on Sesame Street and everything, saying that he was marketing toward kids. Granted. So, I mean, know your audience. That's the only.
But you can't be. They can't be mad at an adult for making adult music. Look at fucking Miley Cyrus. No, I'm just putting that in. Look at Miley Cyrus, right? She's fucking Hannah Montana, and then look what she turned into. Nobody came at them or at her the way they're coming at him. They're like, oh, she's doing drugs, wah. But now look at the way they're speaking on him.
Oh, I called that, by the way, with both that whole Hannah Montana bullshit and that, and Justin Bieber doing the same thing. I'm like, y'all wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have an issue with it. Now, as for the whole sneaker debacle, yeah, Nike has no leg to stand on. I guarantee you a lot of their shoes have human blood in it from the sweatshops overseas that they're paying people with bowls of rice to produce. So I don't think that. Do I think? But back to the heart of this, I think it's great marketing. I mean, no publicity is bad publicity. You get your name out there, you're getting the shoes to be like gobbled up astronomical prices, you're making money. Um, it's a capitalist society where you make money the best way you know how to make money. I'm not going to be mad at somebody making money. That's just me. So I really don't care. So do what you're going to do. If you don't want your kids to listen to it or watch the videos, be a better parent.
Exactly. Am I gonna have my nephew sit, especially since I'm gonna be watching him for a few days, like this summer when my sister's out of town? Am I gonna have him like watching this kind of stuff? No. He's gonna be on YouTube watching certain things. We're gonna play, different video games and stuff on a Switch or whatever. I'm always there. It's like, hey, this is cool. This isn't. Here's what's going on. This and that. I have no problems with him. It's not that hard, people. And besides, Nike, with the shit that you're now dealing with in China, I would be very careful and all of a sudden trying to take some sort of high ground, especially when a huge source of your income is about to be cut off. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, Keneddi, you got anything else to add to this? I think we pretty much made our points pretty clear about this. I mean, it's great marketing. If you don't agree with it, don't buy it. I mean, that's
just let him do what he wants to. I just don't get, why do people care so much? That is my final thought. Stop fucking caring so much if it doesn't have shit to do with you. Don't care.
That's my philosophy too. And if you disagree with us, you can always hit up s.garmer@gmail.com, where you can write a very thorough email using Grammarly.com, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, if you're writing an extra angry email because, hey, we're only about 15, 20 minutes in and you're already pissed off, why don't you go ahead and do yourself a favor and open up Grammarly first? It will help with all kinds of complex spelling errors and other sort of issues that you could come. And it even has an extra feature for the tone of your email, so that way you can make sure you sound nice and angry. But if you like what we're saying, you can still use Grammarly for other things. Resumes, term papers. There's a whole litany of things. If you want to be just so way out there and pissed off at us that you feel the need to send hate mail, or instead, if you really want to send an email showing someone that you love them, you care for them, and thinking about them, whether it be across town or halfway across the world, either way, be it through the Grammarly extension in Chrome, be it through the standalone app, Grammarly has got you. Now, if you want to get all these benefits and then some, well, you come to the right place. All you got to do is just go to getgrammarly.com/W2M network, and you can get started with a nice little 30-day trial. That link again, getgrammarly.com/W2M network.
And I'm pretty sure after this next topic, Grammarly may see a spike in their hate mail being sent to Sean. So, and these last two topics that we'll be talking about specifically cater to Keneddi being on the show, because as a female, and that is very outspoken and very opinionated, definitely something we want to touch on. So, I'm sorry, I've got somebody. We have a guest host that's taking a nap tonight on me. But we're going to talk about this case that just happened in Minnesota that has a lot of fucked up shit going on, because it was just ruled that a girl who was inebriated and was sexually abused and raped, her rapist, and that's what I want to call him, even though that it was the outcome of the trial, was let off because the precedent was set that because she got so drunk that she wanted to be raped. So, Keneddi, I'm going to turn this over to you because I know that you have a lot to say on this one.
So, what irritates me is that they're catering this around. I was like, catering is not the right word. They're making this around women, basically. Just because I think there's a lot of, and I'm not taking away from any women that actually have been sexually assaulted or abused, but a lot of women, and I've ran into women that have done this, it's false rape, especially when they get drunk. I've been around a girl and we were all there and we saw it happen, and she gets too fucked up, and then the next morning, it's didn't mean to do that, rape. But that being said, which that's fucked up, this bill or this law, whatever you want to call it, this being passed is entirely too fucked up, because rape is rape when it actually happens, and it is true. Rape is rape, whether you are drunk, high, sober, whatever you want to say. I don't like the fact that they're using this case in particular because she was also underage, and I'm not saying that's the reason. Obviously, nobody should ever get sexually assaulted, but there are more things going into it too, like why is the bar not getting held accountable for any of it? Why is she not getting held accountable for her part in getting drunk? So that man needs to go to prison for being a rapist, and she needs to be held accountable, and so does that establishment, because this situation should have never even happened.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, the fact that she was underage, which, as a father of a now teenage daughter, kind of hits a little different for me than it would, 5 years ago. And the fact, did I drink underage? Yes. Was there a certain bar where I grew up that as long as you were 16 and could drive, could you get into? Yes. Was you responsible? Yes. I feel that, you're responsible for your own actions, but a lot of this falls on the establishment. I think that they need to be held highly accountable for, the underage drinking and everything. I think they should be able to lose their license, and there should be some jail time being served on that aspect, as well as, and this is going to be a fine line, and I'm sure that this is going to piss a lot of people off. But when you go to a bar, a club, you expect everyone in there to be of age. That is the precedent that is set. You do not expect to go in.
Well, real quick, Jason, she was 20 though. I get what you're getting at, real quick, but she was 20. She was when I said underage, I meant drinking. Underage, just so you know.
Yeah.
No,
okay. I'm saying, I'm encompassing this as a whole, because you expect someone to be of age, and just like Keneddi said, I think the whole regret rape charge, and that's what I'll term it, is a huge thing. I've seen it happen myself. I've seen, people hook up with somebody and then the next morning have buyer's remorse that, either it wasn't good dick or, it was a bad sexual experience. Hell, we've all been there, whiskey dick happens. But, I mean, it's one of those things that you have to take some responsibility and place it on the establishment. As well as, I do not agree with rape. I think the guy should serve time for assault and everything, like we talked about offline. But this is actually going to become a law that is on the floor in Minnesota, from everything I've read, that if a girl gets inebriated and they are raped,
interject. You just heard girl. You said girl. Why is this not general?
Okay, hold on.
No, not you, because that's what the title says too, though.
Yeah.
It should be general. It shouldn't say women. Sorry, I just had my bad. You're good.
Yeah. But, hold on, I'm getting to that. But I mean, because typically it's going to be female. Typically, but it goes both ways. And I was getting to that, Keneddi, because we know that you love. We know that you love your equal opportunity fuckery that everybody gets fuck everybody equally. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at this because it's an issue, but in the same vein of that, in the touch on what Keneddi just brought up, you're not going to see it in men because, and I was actually told this, men cannot be raped. But this law that's going into effect that I've seen that's actually being discussed is if you are too inebriated and if you are raped, the person that performed the sexual act could not be held accountable because your inebriation meant that you wanted it to happen, which I think is utter bullshit.
That makes zero sense. That sentence makes zero sense.
Because, and the reason why I say that is, you have date rape drugs out there. You can have just one drink, and there are shady, shitty people out there that will roofie someone. I've heard of it happen many times. That's why
I got roofied when I was in Hong Kong. That shit's nuts. I had one drink.
Yeah, and we all know your alcohol tolerance. If you don't believe us, there's an episode of The Kickoff that puts it on full display.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
We can't talk about someone like Henry because he isn't here to defend himself.
All I'm gonna say is that episode. I definitely seen fluorescent lights of a certain room in Keneddi's house about 12 times in a matter of an hour and a half.
I got a small bladder, man.
But anyway, Eric, I want your take on it. Me and Keneddi's already got his, because the last topic's going to be a hellacious one for us to talk about.
All right. My thing is like this. This is one of those patented instances where I say that everyone was wrong. And what I mean by this, yes, even with a bar that you assume everyone is of age. As we all know, and I'm sure whoever is listening, some of you have experience with this, there's fake IDs. Those sorts of things happen. Now, with her being 20, yes, I think that is very much an issue with underage drinking. The establishment should, as Jason said, lose their liquor license, have a hefty fine on them, and at a minimum, be shut down. I'd have no problem with it. With the guy involved, yes, fuck all of this innocent until proven guilty shit. We all know the justice system doesn't really work that way. He just got off more than once in this case. He's a rapist. Yes, he needs to do time. And yeah, I know that this is going to be a whole thing, but hey, you give him the kind of soap that's much easier to drop in the shower. Let him get a little bit of his own medicine. I would be completely fine with that. If I were a guard in that instance, maybe I go on break. Maybe I have something to do in another part of the prison. Who knows? These kinds of things can happen. So that's how I feel just out and out with that. With this law, the main crux of it is mental incapacitation. And they're already saying, with mental incapacitation, it's because of the actions of someone else. Like you had both mentioned, with the roofies, with date rape drugs. That's why there's devices and sorts of things that can help detect date rape drugs. People are that very shitty to where this is an unfortunate necessity. So you already have it to where it's mental incapacitation based on someone else. Now you're going to basically be saying, mental incapacitation in general. Pretty much how it should be. Just because you go ahead and you decide to get blackout drunk, does that necessarily mean you want it? No. But if you have that little bit of a cognizance and all kinds of, as you had mentioned, regret rape, yes, that shouldn't be a thing either. with all kinds of kits and tests to see to where what was really consensual in a more scientific and biological sense and what wasn't, you can kind of help use that to piece a story together rather than, let's face it, with most of the time it ends up being a he said, she said. And in the justice system, those cases that do get reported, a lot of times it's all a big thing against the woman, all kinds of slut shaming and all this and that. This just leads to a whole bunch of levels of fucked up. And while you have this certain intent covering all kinds of bases, what are you really helping in this case? Now, all of a sudden,
anything. That bill literally says get drunk equals, you know what, you get to get sexually assaulted.
Yeah, and it's like, really, what the ever-living shit? Mental incapacitation, be it through your roofie or whatever, your stupidity and that kind of stuff. No, if you're not in a place to where you can give consent, it's assault. It's rape. Simple as that. Yes, you have to give consent. And yes, I'm saying this, as the hashtag goes, consent is sexy. Yes, that consent can be withdrawn at any time. I fully understand that. If I'm hearing the word no, I'm stopping what I'm doing and I'm going on about whatever business.
It's literally digressing everything that men and women have worked for. We have worked for consent matters. We worked for if there's no consent. But by you passing this law, you're literally taking away everything people have worked for against sexual assault and rape.
Yeah, you're basically throwing everything back a good 20, 30 years and in some instances farther. And of all kinds of places, Minnesota, this is the last place that I would expect. Even though, yes, you did have a certain governor that was also a wrestler, but whatever. There was no real chaos in anything about that. Times were still good. Oh, Lord. It's things like this why I've had dealing with the issues that I've been dealing with in the last week. I don't fucking get it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. This is setting a precedent up to show that it's okay to be a fucking douchebag individual and sexually assault somebody. Only thing you gotta do is say they was inebriated.
Yeah, even though there were witnesses and even though she was blacked out and wakes up however long later, panties around her ankles and everything, and you claim that as a trophy, all the magic words, oh, she was just too drunk, she wanted it, and all of a sudden, off you go about your life.
Yeah, so do you think that this is the right place for Amazon Music, Eric?
I don't know. I mean, granted, Jeff Bezos isn't doing me any personal favors, but I wouldn't necessarily mind, especially given what else we're going into skipping Amazon Music this one time. Granted, if you still wanted to use Amazon Music to listen to this or any other podcast on the W2M network or otherwise, you could still go to getamazon.com or getamazonmusic.com/W2M network. I'm just saying that we're not going to blatantly advertise it with this one, except to say once again, getamazonmusic.com/W2M network. Take that for what it's worth.
All right, Keneddi, definitely you're going to want to get comfortable because we are about to tackle your bread and butter fuckery. So, as everybody knows, Eric has a very fun extracurricular life. This spurred a conversation. We touched on it a little bit on here, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the my body, our choice argument. Yes, we are tackling the topic of abortion. And where does the decision actually lie? Um, and we're going to open this up. I don't think there's very much intro needs to be done, but preferencing the whole thing, I think it's a consensus. At least I feel it's a consensus across all three of us. The decision for abortion should not fall on one person. I think it needs to be a joint decision. And with that being said, Keneddi, the floor is yours.
I'm just going to open with abortion should not be used as birth control. All right.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Abortion should be there for people that actually need it. Medical reasons, financial reasons, I don't care, a one night stand. I'm not ready for children. I don't want one. But it's not, I open my legs every other fucking Sunday and fucked up and got pregnant, use a punch card at your local Planned Parenthood, you know? And it's just, I don't think any one person should have that choice. And my husband is very pro-life to an extent. And we had this conversation when I got pregnant. And he said, like I said, very pro-life. But he said if it came between you, like medically, like I was going to die or it was going to be our unborn child, he said you should be able to have the option to get an abortion if it's going to, hurt you. It's a lot bigger. And something I get really frustrated with is when women and men will use okay, well, what if she got raped? And people say you can't use somebody else's trauma to use that as an argument. But that's what the argument, that's a ground for it. Just because one person got assaulted and doesn't want somebody to use that argument as their trauma doesn't mean if I got raped as a wife and a mother and I got pregnant, you bet your ass I'm going to say I got raped. This is not my husband's child. I want an abortion. So you can't use any one person's experience specifically, but you can use them all together. You know what I mean? I don't know if that made sense. But it shouldn't be some 70-year-old white dude shouldn't be able to tell me I shouldn't be able to get an abortion if one of the things, and there's others, but if one of the things I mentioned happened, what the fuck does that have to do with him? Me getting an abortion does not affect you or Eric or my mom or my dad, that's on me. Same thing. People can sit there and choose to switch their whole gender, and that's a different topic. I'm just using that as an example. People can
Don't open that can of worms yet.
I'm not, but people can get elective surgeries and do what they want with their bodies in that sense. But I can't get an abortion, even though that changes my whole entire everything. I was pregnant. I grew hair on my stomach. All right. I had postpartum rage. I wanted to literally kill everybody that came in front of me. I got a breast lift because my body was absolutely destroyed after having a kid. And I love my son. But that should be, and those are just very minimal things that happen. But if somebody doesn't want to go through that, they shouldn't have to. Pregnancy ruins you emotionally and physically and mentally. And it should be individuals' choices. I get doctors should be able to have the choice. No, I don't want to do abortions. And that's fine. But there are people that will perform abortions. So I think it should just be on the doctor and on the patient.
See, you took this in a whole different avenue.
I don't know where. Oh, my bad.
No, I mean, it opens up a lot of conversation. Because that aspect was something that does need to come being part of the discussion as a new mother. I mean, that's something you can speak on that me and Eric cannot. So yeah, I mean, it's not I was looking at it as the whole fact of females want to say my body, my choice, and make that choice of abortion without the other participants say so.
I disagree with that, but you guys can go ahead.
Yeah, so you think that the guy who supplied the sperm should have no say-so in the abortion.
He should have as much. It should be 50-50 because the
Exactly.
same women that go and get an abortion without talking to the spouse, or I won't say spouse, sorry, without the sperm donor, we'll say. But if they were to have that kid, it's the same bitches that would sit there and say, I need child support, even if he didn't want it. It should be written either way. If a woman has a kid a man doesn't want, a contract should be written. He should not be legally responsible for that child. If he says, I want you to get an abortion, and she says no, the same way he is losing out on having a child if she gets one because she fucking can. It should be written when you go to get an abortion. If the man is there, he should have to consent to her abortion. Sorry.
And
unless it was obviously a rapey situation, but
yeah, that's my stance on it. I think that it takes two. I mean, you made the comment earlier, abortion should not be a form of birth control. A lot of people see it that way. I seen a video on TikTok, the girl celebrating the fact that she just had an abortion, and this is, and there you go, take another swig, kid, because you just take you a couple more swigs because we got to get Eric's input.
I hate bitches, dog.
But yeah, I mean, there was a viral video of a girl that is celebrating her fucking, I think it was like her 5th abortion or something, and like I mean, her fucking womb was a goddamn graveyard, but at this point, it's a goddamn cemetery. So Eric, as a man of the ill
hobbyist nature.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. We'll go with that. How do you feel on this? If knowing your lifestyle as we do, more than what anybody wants to know about your lifestyle.
Hey, look, y'all aren't subscribed on my OnlyFans, so y'all know there's no limits, so don't.
Yeah, because there's a reason. Because I get the shit sent to me in the fucking middle of the night for me to wake up to that I don't need to subscribe, and it has scarred me for life to the point where anytime I see you pop up in a message, I'm scared to open. So there's that. So with your nature, I want to get your take on it because I have a very personal story that I will share on this because it is it'll probably change your outlook on me, both of your outlooks on me, and the 3 listeners that we have. But I want to share that story. But I want to get your take on it first, Eric.
Now, me being the way that I am, I always take the necessary precautions. It's a lot of conversations, a little bit of extra dealings if necessary, but these sorts of things are always talked about and ironed out beforehand. And in certain situations and conversations for longer term setups that I'm trying to get, if I can get a few grand, that was brought up. And I'm like, hey, if these are particular things for the cases, if you need anything for this, that, or the other, absolutely fine. I'm willing to contribute towards that. I'm okay. But it's always something that is carefully negotiated first. And I had a friend who I talked about on a previous episode who was also a new mother, and I have another friend that she actually wound up getting an abortion. It was an unfortunate encounter, consensual, but he didn't exactly follow all the rules. He really wasn't around in the picture, and there was very, very major medical consequences that the doctors told her about. So I understood where she was coming from, and I was like, hey, I entirely get it. And that's kind of my stance on a lot of this. I consider myself not the pro-choice as it's being described ideologically. When I say I'm pro-choice, I feel women should have every single possible option on the table, including abortions. Now, should they be used as birth control? Absolutely not. Well, not entirely a coat hanger. I mean, if you
Shot
have
back.
the kind of a piercing on your chin and you turn it right at the angle, my friend once called it the aborter. But we're not going to talk about that right now.
If a coat hanger and a shot vac go a lot of ways, a lot of places.
Or a conveniently timed flight of stairs if we're going down that road. But again, I digress. When you're in these certain situations, if it is a necessity, absolutely fine. If you're just using it as birth control, no, that's inherently stupid. It has long-term consequences. Plus, you're in a whole major fight about trying to get access to all other kinds of contraception and birth control, which I'm entirely for. If I could go around and I can get the snip, or if I could go around the corner and get the Magnum bearskin condoms, you should be able to have similar access to the kind of stuff that you need. That goes both ways. Hey, I'm fine. All kinds of extra things to negotiate. But you can't just go fighting for all of that, which you deserve, or fighting even for the right to go ahead and get your tubes tied with it. If that's what you want to do, by all fucking means. You can't fight for all of that and then turn around and go ahead and do this. That makes no sense whatsoever. I'm sorry. And when it comes to a conversation as far as who would have the right to decide, does the onus primarily fall on the woman because it is her body and she's the one going through this procedure? Absolutely. Should whomever the partner was in that instance at least know about it and that lead to a conversation? Yes. And both parties need to deal with whatever consequences, especially if there's a disagreement.
All right, yeah. So I mean, story time. Yeah, this is going to be. This is why I feel the way I do. I think it needs to be the both parties participating in the decision rather than one. About, let's see, 6.5 years ago, I was engaged to a fucking cum guzzling whore who could not be faithful, who got pregnant by someone else when she cheated on me. Of course, me and her we was not practicing. She was basically a fucking Twinkie at any time, any given time. So we'll go with that. So yeah, she preferred Twinkies over toaster strudels. With that being said, she ended up getting pregnant, and it's about the time the time frame was pinned to me, and she went and secretly had an abortion without me knowing about it. And then held it over my head for many years. That she had that I wasn't there for her when she had the abortion, even though she hid it from me. She just said she was in the hospital. Well, come to find out, about 5 years ago, decided to try to start having a child of my own. Went to see the appropriate doctors, and the doctors looked at me and went, yeah, hate to tell you this, you can't have kids. You've not been able to have kids since you was about 26 years old, because of some issues that you have. So for the time that I carried the burden of being the abortion held over my head, only to come to find out that there was no way in hell that the kid was mine, that she did have aborted, and she had the abortion to hide it from me because she was fucking other people. And then when I called her out on it, she got mad. this is where I come in. I think the decision to have an abortion falls on both people. I think that if you go to an abortion clinic, the person that provided the sperm needs to sign off on the documentation as well. Without that, I don't think you should be able to have it. If you do have it, you sign. The father needs to sign a thing that if he signed the thing that wanted to have the abortion, that he signs a paper giving up parental rights. Period.
That's hard though, because that's where I was coming in, because like with the whole like rape, or if the father's not around, if the father leaves, if you can't contact, so it has to be something, and it's hard. You're not going to be able to police that. I wish there was a way to do it, because I agree with what you're saying, but in certain situations, you're not going to be able to get the consent from the male, and then a woman is stuck with a kid that she doesn't want because
you could do DNA tests.
Well, I'm saying if he has to sign it.
Yeah.
Not to mention, even with the whole DNA test, you would have to find him and track him down.
Yeah.
Plus, in the cases of rape and incest, that
I'm saying to get it signed though too. You have to go get signature, right? That's what we're saying is to get the abortion, you need consent from both people. What if he did no contact? Like that's what's hard about it.
But you also got to look at it like this. What if you go, it's the issue of you're going to claim the whole rape or thing just to have the abortion. You're going to claim that it was rape and everything. So it's a slippery slope.
It's hard to police.
Yeah, yes. It is.
But it's getting to the point where, to have sex, you need to have a fucking terms and conditions signed before you have intercourse.
Oh, not just that. I actually read this study to where nowadays more young men, 18 to 30, on top of all of this, with everything going on, but everything that is going on with trying to chart the course for their life, more guys are just turning away from having sex, period. Now, I can, again, going through in depth, seeing the reasons why, but if all of these studies are going to be harping on things like declining birth rates and all this and that, and say, all the trouble that this could cause in a couple generations' time, well, look at what you're creating, and now look at all of these consequences. Now you're staring right down the barrel of this. What are you going to do?
Man, like I said,
ain't got to worry about shit. I'm married.
Well, I am too.
Okay, both of y'all are married fine.
I can't have kids anymore, and I'm married, so fuck it.
Hell, at this point, yeah, I'm still going to have my love for Twinkies and seeing certain kinds of bubble blowing in certain places, but still, these are things that I also think about.
Oh God, Eric. And I think that's a good place to wrap the show up with Keneddi giving us her final thoughts.
I don't know. I don't know. Wrap it up. Pull out. Don't fuck. Just be adults. Don't use abortions as a punch card. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I feel that's misogynistic because you called it Ted. Why do you have to identify it as a male with a male
because
name?
He is. Because everybody that would actually say something like that can lick my butthole.
I heard you're into that.
Okay, look, y'all are mentioning all this stuff with OnlyFans. I'm just saying, you can't threaten me with money-making opportunities and not have me starting to negotiate different cuts of content creation.
All right. Eric, wrap it up on your end. And I mean literally wrap it up.
Like I said, Magnum bearskin condoms.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what those are.
Well, that not to mention older women. I mean, 50 plus, some of my best experiences anyway. So one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, Eric's a dapper daddy. Uh, he just puts the depends to the side. So with that being said, and as Kennedy's getting ready to have dinner, as we put that mental image in our head, this is going to wrap this episode of Black Irish up. As always, thank you for joining us, Keneddi. I'm sure that this won't be the last time.
Happy to be involved.
That's her key time. Eric, finish the show out. I'm letting you take us off the air tonight.
Well, I mean, you can find every one of us on Twitter. You can find me at Squid Sportshead, Jason at W2M Chairman, Keneddi at Eds, EDDS _ Ken. Yep, I'm double checking because I try to remember these things.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, because that's
yes,
the one that
we'll go yes.
That's the one that I use to tag everybody. And of course, if you're trying to figure out all the wonder stuff that I've also been talking about, go in, slide on my DMs and Twitter, undergo the proper thorough and very in-depth vetting process. You'll get access to my dark Twitter, Snapchat, and all kinds of other extra bits and goodies. Yes, I'm still trying to convince other people to be on Snapchat, but hey, what have you. And aside from that, I won't even mention Facebook for this time because, yeah, I've done enough.
And with that, everybody, this has been Black Irish. Go fuck yourself.